It's June the 10th. I lost my cell phone. Somebody help me find it. It's a wonderful morning. This morning, I have to give apologies to the electee. Everybody thought we had his phone number, but like me, losing my phone. Obviously, we were calling the wrong number, and I apologize to you, sir. With that said, sir, could you please step up here? For the record, out there in the live stream, this is Mr. Robert Tipicani. Usually I have somebody standing up here, but I'm so small. So. Good sir, could you put your hand on the Bible and raise your right hand? There we go. Okay. I, Robert Tipicani,
I, Robert Tipicani,
do hereby solemnly affirm
do hereby solemnly affirm
before Almighty God
before Almighty God
and mankind
and mankind
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the Comanche Nation
the Constitution of the Comanche Nation
and will carry out faithfully
and will carry out faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
the duties of my
the
office
duties of my office
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and will promote
and will promote
and protect
and protect
the best interests
the best interests
of the Comanche Nation
of the Comanche Nation
in accordance with the Tribal Constitution.
in accordance with the Tribal Constitution.
Article 16 is our oath of office. Welcome aboard, Secretary Treasurer Robert Tipicani.
Thank you.
Get you sign this here, sir. This morning, before we start our meeting, I'd like for Mr. Robert to share a few words, and I would like for the audience to come and congratulate this man. I've worked with Robert in the past. We never gave each other a quarter, not one. We looked at each other in the eyes and we both said, "We don't trust you." And it made for a great relationship. At that time, we had an excess of $14 million. Him and I collectively working together. He is a fiducial man. He is a judiciary man. And he is a Juris Doctorate, which I really like. So with that said, I would like for Mr. Tipicani to have the floor for a little bit, and after he's done, please come shake his hand, please.
Well, I'd like to introduce my wife, Betty, back there. She's standing. And I know we all go through life with partners, and some of us don't have that, and that's a big miss if you don't have it. But I always appreciate my family. We have one son, Sunrise, and I wish he were here today just to see his dad again. He's a busy young man. But I'm very honored and very privileged to serve the Comanche Nation. It's a great honor for any of us to be elected by our fellow people, because our people show trust and give us confidence. And we have to live up to that. We have a responsibility to be ethical, to be honest, to be straightforward, and to uphold the Constitution of the Comanche Nation. We must also abide by those things given to us by the council, all the voting members of the nation. They have a strong voice. They're a supreme body of our nation. And we must remember we live under those terms. We can't go out freely and do the things we want to do. We have to bring them forward in resolutions. In many cases, sometimes we have to bring them to the council, so the council endorses them and approves them. So we must really, truly abide by the Constitution and live within that. It's not our free will, it's the will of the people. And I always have to remember that, I'm a strong one that believes in ta'apua, ta'apua, tua. And I really feel when you have that strength in you that you have a standard in how you live. And you abide by what God wants you to be. And when you have that, I would say, code of ethics and that standard of life, you will do well. Because when you make an error, you're making the error against God. And you don't want to do that. You want to live for Him. You want to be what He is. So if you have, in my opinion, if you have that standard in your life and you live for the wonderful ta'apu and ta'apu atu, and I say even the Holy Spirit, if you live with them, guided by them, and seek the wisdom and knowledge from there, you're going to do the job in a good way that the people give to us. You know, it's the honor again that the people give this to us. All of us here sitting here, you know, you have chosen us, and we trust now that we live up to what you expect of us. And I certainly will say I will do my very best to uphold the duties of Secretary Treasurer. You know, it's a very important job. I feel the fiduciary job is a responsible job, and you have to really be sure that we're living within the accounting principles or within the budgets that are approved by the council. That's not our prerogative to steal from one budget and move it to another budget. Right. It isn't. We have to live within a budget approved by all the members who voted. So we can't take exceptions to that. If we were to do that, we must bring it back to the council and ask the council. You know, all revenues that come into the nation belong in that arena, in the council. For the council to say how we are to expend them. You know, so remember, you have a great voice as a member of our nation. And I trust then we uphold the offices that you so honorably give us. Cool.
Robert, if you stand up there, we'll let folks come and introduce themselves to you.
They want you to shake your hands.
I'm glad you're back.
Well, Business Committee, if you don't mind, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of miraculous. It is 9:46. If you want to get started earlier, it's entirely up to you. But I've got to get some things done, so if you can give us 5 minutes before we start this meeting. By the way, there is a great ceremony today, really wonderful within our nation. I'm still having to sign many things for it. Today, your nation, there was 138 college students at Cameron University. There was 46 Comanche Nation students at the University of Oklahoma. There was 27 Comanche Nation students at UCO in Edmond, Central Oklahoma. There were 26 Comanche Nation members at Mr. Red Oak's alma mater, Bacone College, up there in Muskogee. At Oklahoma State University, Johnny Poway, good grief. 19 Comanche Nation students there. Haskell Indian Nations University. I went to this commencement due to the fact my son was president of the student body. The great thing about Haskell Indian Nations University, KU, the KU Board of Regents there, has classified what everybody said, oh, that's some type of party school. They're classified in the same realm as KU right now. Miraculous turnaround at Haskell. There's 14 students there. Oklahoma City Community College, OCCC. That college has really, really expanded. There was 11 students there. This is just the list of the ones in state. There are so many out of state. And I just have to go by my notes here. Now, this is really marvelous. This has been a banner year. I had these great PowerPoints, and along with my phone, my PowerPoints went with it. But anyway, you know, there's some kids that, I don't know, maybe they had situations in their life, and they just couldn't get their high school diploma. But I just thank God we have a GED program, and there was 13 Comanche Nation people that, 13 of them got their GED. Our high schools throughout the United States of America, there's 151 enrolled Comanches that graduated, 151. Now this is remarkable. Comanche Nation enrolled members, there's 55 that actually got their BS or BA. They graduated from college, 55. Associate degrees, there were 20. It's 2 years or more. Also, this is marvelous. There were 17 that obtained their master's level of education. 17 Comanche Nation members. And we had one doctorate that received his doctorate. And we do have a few Comanches that are traveling abroad. I believe there was one Comanche in Spain and one in South America studying there. With that said, people in the audience, can we give these people a congratulations? That's pretty good. This time, Vice Chair and Business Committee, I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. In this first order of business, I am going to turn to our newly elected Secretary Treasurer. If you could please do a roll call, sir.
Chairman William Nelson.
Here.
Vice Chair Susan Costner. Here. Mr. Tippecanoe here. Jonathan Polway, Committeeman number 1.
Here.
Eddie Odyssey, Committeeman number 2.
Here.
Ronald Redout, Committeeman number 3.
Here.
Clyde Narkemy, Committeeman number 4.
Here.
All present, Chairman.
Thank you. You know, when I lost my paha, my aunt, she was very instrumental in my life. And at that time, a lady said, "You're my son, Miss Arilla Craig. Arilla, can I call upon you this morning to ask God to look over what we're doing today? Thank you." Thank you, Arilla. For the record, this is Mr. Ronald Redout, okay? This is Mr. Robert Tipicani. All right, okay. We're going to go, we had a short meeting last month, you guys, if you can go over these minutes. We've been having a lot of people that have gone home. And you can go over the minutes and we'll approve those minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
All right. Motion has been made by Mr. Narcomi. Could I please get a second to approve these minutes?
I'll second it.
And seconded. Business Committee to approve the minutes from May 6, 2017. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
I abstained because I was not here.
Sure, one abstention. Abstention. Okay. For the record, Secretary Treasurer, I'd like to amend our agenda to add resolution number 061701 and to add 061702 and 061703. Is that good for you, sir? Okay. All right. Moving forward with business at hand. We come to resolution number 6017, and this is a resolution of a list that includes names of applicants who have been verified as eligible pursuant to Article 3, Section 1C. All descendants of allottees eligible for membership under the provision of Section 1A of the article having an eighth or more degree of Comanche Indian blood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee accept the verification of eligibility for the applicants as shown on list 1062 by the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office. Be it further resolved that the Comanche Nation Enrollment Office notify the eligible applicant by letter of their approved membership. Business Committee, it looks like we have
34.
34? 34 new members. All those in favor of accepting this due diligence work, and we do have a triple check on this now, please signify, better yet, I do need a motion to continue with this. I need someone to bring forth a motion to this question to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 60-17.
Motion has been presented to continue. I do need a second.
I second it.
Seconded by our Secretary Treasurer. Business Committee to approve this list herein, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those not in favor, same sign. And I'd like to make a comment on this. We are really at the point that we have to go to DNA. We got one situation at hand that does call for DNA. It just has to. The way things were put on at that time was somebody perjured themselves, and it's no fault to the children, but the perjury is very real. How do we get past the perjury? It has to go right to a DNA. Because we actually have 2 birth certificates, and how they got them, I'll never know. But it's highly confidential, and hopefully we can work on that this month to think about DNA on certain cases within enrollment. With that said, I'd like to read these names of our new members. We have Ivan Aguilar, Robert Ahedi, Angel Alonzis, Billy Lee Bingham III, Candace Brown, Brayley Curry, Elena Demarius, Sunny Demarius, Lexi Edwards, Karan Esparza, Kayleen Jones, Lily Juarez, Louis Juarez, Aria Kopati, Tinsley Kopati, Autumn Chrysler, Lisa Jean Lookingglass, Baylor Mansell, Michael Miller, Daisy Paaki, come on.
Yeah.
Braden Ramirez, Malia Ramos, Julian Salinas Jr., Ralph Simon, Michael Skeen, Chloe Marie Standridge, Alexander Jaden Tachawika, Lillian Rejoice, that's wonderful, Teets, Lorelei Thoman, James Underwood, Isaac Vargas, Kayla Watson, Herbert Whitebird, Levi Wilbanks. Well, let's welcome them to our Comanche Nation, people. For the record, there are 16,776 Comanches. 16,776, so you do the math with this new addition, we're getting pretty close to 17,000. Okay, moving forward.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
out of these 34 we just added on,
yes, sir.
out of these 34 we added on, just for y'all's information, there was 28 1/8. 28 of them was 1/8. That's just for everybody's information.
Why did you think it was necessary to state that?
How, did Nyla have a birthday?
Pardon me?
Hazel, did Nyla have a birthday? Happy birthday, Nyla. Moving forward.
I had a question.
It sounded like a comment, ma'am.
No, it was a question.
Point of order, we're going to move forward to
Point
resolution
of
number
order is
6117.
included Changes to the agenda, but by protocol.
Resolution number 6117. The Comanche Constitution establishes the Comanche Business Committee as the duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation. Ma'am, we will have order here. If you can't control yourself, please exit.
As soon as you control your stuff, you're not going to throw me out like
Yes.
a rag doll.
Yes, Hazel?
My grandson was enrolled, in his application in December 2016, and he still is not enrolled yet.
Your
What is the
grandson.
problem? What's the?
Who turned this information in?
Huh?
Did you turn it in?
His mother did.
His mother? This is the first I've heard of this, Hazel.
Does it take that long to get
Well,
enrolled?
this is the first time I've heard of it. So hopefully we can look at it on Monday. You're a tribal employee. Maybe you can come up here and expedite that.
I
Okay.
called,
Okay.
and they were waiting for Choctaw and I think Caddo. So they finally contacted somebody. They said they were gonna contact them, but my question is, why did it take this long for them to contact them? I mean, are they not keeping up with, following up with applications that are pending,
We can't even answer that. You even being the grandma, it has to be the mother that comes up here.
But what I'm saying is what the process.
I understand. Okay. Moving forward, resolution number 6117. The Comanche Constitution establishes the CBC as a duly elected official body designated to conduct business. We see the critical need to preserve and maintain the Comanche language, and the United States Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Native Americans, Native American language preservation and maintenance has funds available for $100,000 to a maximum of $300,000 for 3 years to accomplish this purpose. The tribal chairman or his designee is the official representative of the Comanche Nation and is authorized to negotiate and approve contracts and any amendments to such. TA, is this person that promulgated this, or are they here for this? Okay, all right. Now therefore be it resolved, is this the one where everybody's involved? Okay. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby approve the submission of this grant application to the United States Department of Health and Human Services. Be it further resolved that the CBC, acting for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, does hereby authorize this resolution for such intent. From the work I've seen on this business committee, I think they will get the $300,000 because they have all the great in-kind work that's happening for it. So with that said, this question is imposed to this CBC in the form of someone to bring it to a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Motion made by Eddie and seconded by you, Clyde?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To move forward on resolution number 6117, Business Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Resolution number 6117 has passed.
This is it one.
This was submitted by our compliance officer. We went to the Sovereign Symposium in Oklahoma City, and it seems like every nation, the 37 tribes here, 38 in the one town here in Oklahoma, it seems like everybody's coming to this. It's the resolution of the Comanche Business Committee to establish a minimum standards of character and suitability for employment policy. As it goes, this is resolution number 6217. The Comanche Business Committee is a duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation. And the Comanche Business Committee recognizes that no resource is more valuable to the tribe's continued existence than its children, and the CBC has a direct interest in protecting children. Now therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Business Committee hereby establishes a minimum standards of character and suitability for employment policy to be supplemental in the Comanche Nation Human Resources Policies and Procedures Manual pursuant to Section 4, Amendment of the Comanche Nation Human Resources Policies and Procedures. Page 6, these policies may be amended, supplemented, or superseded at any time by resolution of the Comanche Nation Business Committee. Upon passage of resolution number 6217, this policy, Chapter 9, Section 9, in the Comanche Nation Human Resources Policies and Procedures Manual is to take effect immediately. As you can see, it has a place for adjudication, adjudication official, what a child means, covered position, crimes against persons, what the tribal entity really means, the must and the tribe. It really, what it does, it gives minimum standards. If we have somebody that, I can't even go there because it's so confidential. If somebody was put on the Adam Walsh Act, what do we do? Somebody's a sex offender, what do we do? Very confidential. Almost every nation has adopted this, and the reason for it is because HR can only do so much.
I have a question.
Yes, sir?
I haven't read this yet,
Yeah.
and also, I think we need to review all the policy and direct this and entertain this question regarding all the policies, policy and procedures. And I think we should table this until that's done.
Okay. It does, I guess, need further discussion, but everything that identifies Native America is Title 25. And Part 63, Subpart B, it does throw this in, the whole thing in it about minimum standards of character and suitability for employment. So it asks, what positions require a background? What does the Indian Child Protection and Family Violence Protection Act require? What questions should an employer ask? Who conducts a background? Are the requirements for BIA adjudication different from the requirements for Indian tribes? You know, we have a former judge here, and that's always the question. I sat in on Judge Reef's integrity and accountability session in Oklahoma City, and he says pro se of most tribes gets us to a point of confusion. Can an employer certify an individual with a prior conviction? What rights does an applicant, volunteer, or employee have during this process? And of course, like us, we don't recognize CFR court. But at this point in time, I'd like to call upon Jimmy. We are 3/4 of the way through with codification of our own court. Can you give us an update on that? Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course, we have the attorney Ken Belmar that's working with us on that. So we have our core team, which involves compliance officer, our grants writer, chief of police, part of our children's court, the advocates there and stuff. So he's hoping to have that completed and brought forward before September. So once that happens, we'll bring it to you guys. But everything's looking really well. I mean, we've looked at all the kind of comparisons of other tribal courts and tried to ensure that, tribal members' rights are fully recognized. And even the selection of the judges, that's open, to ensure that we have qualified individuals to represent the nation. So an RFP will go out for every tribal member that's qualified in that area to apply. And then, will be referred back to the committee. And then we have, if either of you'd like to talk about it, Denise is here, and so is Vern. You want to talk about it? Share your thoughts about where we are?
One of the concerns was protection of individual rights. And I think this avenue, this court has addressed that totally. We looked at the models of the federal district court, and we looked at the state court. And the biggest concern we have is we need a court that will be able to answer any question that may arise with our Constitution. Not a court that can say, well, we don't want to entertain this, we don't want to entertain that, without an accompanying resolution. This court's going to be fair, independent, and will address our needs and concerns.
One thing I liked about it, it holds every elected to the coal of the fire. That's what I liked about it. One other thing, talking to Judge Reef, he says there's 3 scholarships, one for a clerk, one for a librarian, and one to, I guess, to help in this codification. We've got $850,000. That's probably going to be available, by the federal government to get this done. Talking with these judges, federal judges, and talking with our judge, our own enrolled member, Judge Otopobi, they're very excited that tribes are going to definite court. And some tribes have done away with it due to the politics of the time. We have to do it. We don't recognize a court in Anadarko that gives no justice. This committee here is an elected business committee. We're not a judge. We're not a jury. We're not the prosecution. All we can hear is complaints. So the Tax Act, that has to be in there. We even have an Economic Development Act. We also have the our Constitution is so relevant with over 9,000 resolutions passed from time immemorial. So, you know, you got to combine all this. You got to put it all in there. So it's taking a little bit of time. I'm happy it's going to go forward. So a motion, would you like to present that as a motion there, Mr. Eddie Odyssey, to table this?
I have a question.
Sure.
You're talking about the human rights, combining, going into like, what do you call it, background checking of all these people before they're hired?
It goes right to Title 25 of
So
federal
you've got
law.
all these other programs that we, Alicia Carrara, her program, don't they all have to be included in some of this information? Because they're bringing in people that have substance abuse issues. So there's a lot of little programs that are kind of overlapping that need to be involved in this thing.
If this did pass today, our compliance officers here, would that apply to all 84 programs and 32 federal programs? All of them.
Right now, the tribe doesn't have a policy at all.
Right, I know.
Working with children. And it's just for just for positions that deal with children, that have control over children, that are alone with them. And it only covers crimes that, like domestic violence, assault, crimes against children, sex crimes, just those serious crimes. You can't work with children. And we do abide by the federal policy right now, but we need our own tribal policy, and that's what this is.
We do have people that haven't been convicted, that have abused, but this court needs to get started so we can start.
Chairman, can I add on to what Vern and Jimmy said? We already have a court, it's a children's court. We're just expanding services, and that's what we're developing right now.
Right, right. Thank you, Denise.
I got a question. Go ahead.
Well, you're the one that said to table it, so.
Well, I was just gonna say that you can't say somebody's something without any paperwork or something
Right.
filed or something to show that that's, you know, you just can't say something, you know? Did somebody have a complaint? Is it written? Is it in court? That they call the police? That, you know, you gotta have something to back it up. You can't just say, you know, somebody's this way, you know?
A lot of people haven't, in the past, they have not had a paper trail. And so that's what we need to start doing, making sure that we have a paper trail since we're getting a court.
Well, our policy, if you're gonna work for the tribe, you have to take a blood test. So they take drug tests and whatever, but I don't know, you can't just accuse somebody. And I still say I make a motion, we table it until we review all the policy.
Motion.
Chairman Nelson, I've got a comment and a question and a request all in one.
Either one.
This being the first meeting I'm attending, I feel a little at ease in approving or disapproving or voting primarily. Is it possible for the committee to receive what we're going to make decisions on prior to today? Or maybe you've already doing that, I need some time to think about what I'm voting on.
Right.
And like, I feel at ease in making decisions without prior
Right.
knowledge. So I would second his motion to table this on that basis.
You're all three are noted and duly accepted. CBC Red Oak, one thing about trying to have a meeting before a meeting. To me, that sounds like you're staged, you're rehearsed. So we tend to get the information out, just like you spoke of, and due to the fact of the swearing-in time. Okay, motion and seconded. So CBC, to this question to table this one here, 6217, and we better work on it. Please signify by saying aye to table. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Get that, okay. Moving forward, resolution number 6317. The Comanche Nation acknowledges archaeological evidence from our past and recognizes Indian marker trees as a living monument to our historic presence in the state of Texas. Whereas the Comanche Nation Elder Council was established to provide guidance to the CBC in all matters of historical and cultural significance involving Comanche Nation. The Comanche Nation Elders Council recommends the Comanche Nation Business Committee acknowledge the Indian marker tree as a Comanche Nation marker tree. Before I go to the whereas, could I please call upon you, good sir? Will the state of Texas, is that what they're looking for if we establish it as the Comanche Nation marker tree? Okay. This is Mr. Atchevik. Could you please stand, sir? Or Willie? Or, oh, you're the spokesman? Okay, Willie, go ahead. Sure, okay, okay,
Yeah, Robert, please come on up.
okay.
I'd like to answer all your questions and clarify them.
Just talk to the audience and your worldwide Comanche viewers out there, guys. Marker trees.
Yeah.
Comanche area, we traveled from Denver, heck, we went to Canada, we raided Mexico, we came back. So was this our way to find our way home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. My name is Robert Atchford, and I reside in Wichita Falls. And this tree that we're about to approve of started way back in December of 2010. And this time now has come for us as a tribe to approve that it is a Comanche Indian marker tree. Since March of 2011, I have been interested and amazed in this tree. Some people call it a deformed tree. We as Comanches call it a marker tree. It would be an honor for this tree to be recognized by the tribe. It's a beautiful tree. It's been fascinating for all these years, and finally, we're going to really recognize it as our tree. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Robert. Robert came to us a couple months ago, did a presentation. Some of you were there, and their elder council decided that we'd like to keep sponsoring this, so we want to be involved with these kind of cultural activities.
Sure.
We would like to be named instead of just the Indian marker tree, Comanche Nation marker tree. The council committee, we also talked about maybe sponsoring and buying a plaque to go with it. Out of that funds. So we're here today just to, get your approval to, keep it on going.
I got a question.
Yes.
Is Texas gonna recognize this as a historical site?
Robert? Sir? Well, it's in Wichita Falls area.
I know, but is Texas or the state or the city gonna recognize this as a historical site?
A Holiday, it's located in Holiday at the Jackson Memorial Park. And
But it's the
it's,
state that recognizes it if we,
yes,
if we.
yes,
pass
the
resolution.
Historical Tree Committee from Texas has recognized it as a Comanche marker tree.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Atchevik. Okay, Willie, thank you. So I'm going to go to where we go to.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion to approve this resolution.
Well, hold on now.
All righty.
We haven't had it, we haven't had it resolved yet. We're trying
I
to
thought we did.
resolve it to dissolve a question here. Milton, did you have a question?
I've got a comment along with what they're saying. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Riddell for wanting to know more about the questions you're bringing to the meeting, and I appreciate that. But what I wanted to say about this motion is that we as Comanches should not only look, just our surrounding areas, but my travels as an elder across the country, there are a lot of places that the tribe has been, and many of those places, those folks that live there, that's part of their history, and they want to contact the tribe and recognize their history as well as our history and place these markers, and they've been wanting to do that for a number of years. So I know that's going on in Texas as well as some of the other states we've been in, and what I was going to say is I support this movement to begin to go through our country, and Mr. Atterbury is well aware of where we've been, and we do need to, you might say, make our mark in our history, in our country.
Thank you, Mr. Silva.
I
All
have
right.
a question. How
Go
much
ahead,
is it gonna cost us? Who's gonna pay for the marker?
We're hoping it'd be around $100. So we wouldn't have much issue with that. You were stuck a little plaque, just something that can wear the weather, be outside, by the tree.
Well,
I think we ought to have a bigger plaque.
Yeah.
I
Where's
think we
the
need something
providence
bigger,
of
so
this marker tree?
It is
something you can
on,
see when you
Yeah.
drive by.
Where is the providence of this marker tree?
well, I'd like to go to the Providence when we get this resolved. So here we
The
go.
providence is the history.
Now, therefore be it resolved, the Comanche Business Committee, a duly elected official body designated to conduct business for and on behalf of the Comanche Nation, accepts the pecan Indian marker tree, and it's huge, right, Mr. Hatchevett? 2 miles south of Holiday, Texas, on FM 368. I guess that's a highway there, or
Farm to market.
farm marker, okay, as a Comanche marker tree. So Business Committee, to move forward on this question, resolution number 6317. I do need a motion.
I have a comment or
Sure,
question.
sure.
I know you mentioned you'd like it to be acknowledged as a Comanche Nation marker tree, and it does say that in the last whereas, but then down at this last part now, we go back and we say Comanche marker tree. Shouldn't we add Comanche Nation marker tree there as well?
What does the Elders Council want here, Mr. Willie?
Just imagination,
Marker tree?
marker tree.
Is that good for you, Mr. Atchevett?
Need to stay consistent, like you said, across. Comanche Nation, what we are, then marker tree.
Okay.
Did you
This,
say it was 2 miles where?
2 miles south of Holiday, Texas. I think it was named after Doc Holliday.
So that would be amendment to this resolution to add that.
Yes. Where's Ashley? Ashley? Okay. Could you make that notation there? Okay.
Well,
As
I
to-
make the motion to amend it. so.
Okay. Motion and
Excuse
to,
me,
and
you
to,
stopped the motion before to answer
And
Mr.
to-
Silva's question. I've got my hand up.
oh, I'm sorry,
I
Mr.
would like-
Tockney. Please go ahead.
Where is the providence of this marker tree?
I guess we're
The
looking for
meaning of the word
archaeological.
providence is the history. Where is the history?
Well, the history of the tree was conducted by the Texas Historical Tree Coalition. And that's what they do. They go all over Texas, wherever a tree that possibly might be a Native American. they go through a process, the age, and they don't just pick a tree. It has to meet a certain age in order to qualify for a market tree, which they went through. And they acknowledge that, yes, this is old enough to qualify as a Native American market tree. And we claim, and they also said it was, due to the Comanches in that area, it was listed as a Comanche Indian market tree.
Where did they get their history to say that? Is what I'm asking.
When a tree is recognized and a team will come and investigate this tree, they climb it, they take off limbs, and then they take it back to their organization and they study it to see if it meets the qualification.
Mr. Ashford, let me just address this to Phyllis, because she's got a whole host of questions, so we'll just summarize to make it clear. So, the Texas Historic Tree Coalition, Phyllis, has a variety of things that they take into consideration. So all that information that Mr. Atchevett has been involved with, it rests with them. But there is science, there is oral tradition, there's archaeology, ethnography, and the history of the area that's included in all of that. So it's a very scientific process that includes the tribe and the Elders Council in making that determination. So Mr. Atchevett, how long have you been involved in this? How many years?
Since December of 2010.
So see, there's been a long process to come to the ultimate results and determination. So the answer to your question is with the Tree Coalition. And all they're asking for, it's already been recognized in the state of Texas as Comanche Market Tree. The only thing that Mr. Atchevett is asking is that we actually create a resolution to support that determination.
That's fine. Is that, where can I get that information that this Texas?
You can contact the Texas Tree Coalition and they'll give you a copy of that.
Moving forward, resolution number 6317, and with the amended part on therefore Comanche Nation Marker Tree Business Committee, I do need a motion to continue with this resolution.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 6317.
Okay. Do need a second to
I'll
continue?
second it.
Seconded by Poway. Business Committee, Holiday, Texas, on FM 368 as a Comanche Nation marker tree. Please signify by saying aye to approve.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. There you go, Mr. Pika. And thank you, Mr. Atchevett. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
We will give you updates on the plaque and
Sure.
everything else as we go.
Sure.
I'd like to take a quick minute just to update you on the Comanche Nation Elder Council.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your support.
Go ahead.
Our
Yeah.
numbers have really turned around for
Yes.
that. You've been to a couple of our meetings. We just had our June picnic, and we had 76 people for an outside picnic. Previous month, we had 81, 84, 87 people coming to a noon meeting to get information from the tribe and have a nice lunch. So it is working. But I'd like to thank the council committee. We got Adele Maishua is our treasurer, heck of a job. Vivian Holder is our vice president. And then we've got Phyllis Narcomes, our secretary treasurer. They've been working really hard, so the numbers have increased. I remember I started going last year about October. They were averaging 40. And we've jumped up to 70 and 80.
Could you have that too, please stand?
Oh, could you stand, please?
We'll give them a hand.
Thank you very much. They've really turned it around, they've made a difference, and the elders, like what direction we're going, so thank you for your support.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pika.
Tell them when your meeting is. Tell everybody when your meeting
We meet the first Monday of every month
At 10 o'clock.
at 10 o'clock. And we'd like to invite the new people, if you'd like to come, the elder council said give you an invite to come and just say a little few words, have lunch with us. So it'll be July 3rd, the first Monday of every month. So I'll give you a card before I leave. I've got one in the
Tell
car.
them where at.
Usually at the college council. downtown, Comanche College. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Willie. All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment on the marker tree.
Sure.
Years ago, when the Language Committee were very active in taking trips to Texas and locations that Comanches lived and traveled. One of those visits, we took a trip to Central Texas, and it was specifically for looking at marker trees. And quite possibly, you folks may be looking at identifying other Comanche marker trees. They're all over Texas.
Sure.
A lot of organizations that, that are taking part in recognizing. When I was in Wisconsin, I was involved with the tribes up there, and they had the same thing, marking trails from Chicago all the way up to northern Wisconsin, so I was familiar with the process.
I believe the Numina have rights to an alien piece of artifact. It's alien to this world. There's a meteorite they call the Comanche Rock. Many stories come from this, from Puhasuan, people gathering medicine. The warriors of old called Pukupsi that did everything contrary. I don't know how we go about getting that out of the governor's arena, but just by them throwing that name on her, Comanche Rock. What do you think, Bob? Okay.
Is that the one in Austin?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's in the museum down there.
There you go.
We made a trip down there, a month ago, but we didn't actually see the meteorite, but they talked about it, all the Austin people that we visited with. So, yeah.
Our oral history is all we have, and our oral history told us many things about this meteor, this alien object. Mr. Dennis Wilmenboy, I'm going to come to you on this resolution number 6417, sir.
Chairman, member of the CBC, in 2012, the CBC passed a resolution authorizing the BIA to sign off on the property that we inherited that was 5% or less. If it was over 5%, then it required a resolution in order for them to sign off on it. And so we are getting small shares that's just over 5%, and I was wanting you to consider amending that to increase that 5% to 10 or 15 or whatever you would like to increase that, so that they would have the authority to sign off on the inheritance that we get that's up to a certain percent. That would be up to y'all to determine. So I prepared a resolution and I left the percentage blank. And first of all, we decided, do you want to amend it or you want to keep it like it is? Right now, we have 3 tracks that are over 5%. 2 of them are 5.8%. 1 of them is 6.1%. So those 3 tracks will have to get a resolution approved, or we can approve this resolution and increase that percentage to a number that's already determined.
Okay. It's called the American Indian Probate Reduction Act. Our tribe's not affected as much as the northern Oklahoma tribes. There's 1,000 to 3,566 interests up there, which is kind of like a dirt clod of land. To be honest with you, I don't want to sway this table any way or the other. I believe the 5 should stick as the law provides, and I think we need to go resolution by resolution per property. And the reason I say that, if we go to a number, then it's unfair to anybody in the future. I see it that way, but that's just my opinion, and we got to be impartial here, so.
Dennis, I think it'd be smart for you to explain to the audience here and to the CBC, why we get that percentage.
Well, the American Indian Probate Reform Act gives the property that the deceased doesn't have a will, and if it's under 5%, then that goes to the Comanche tribe. And right now, we have interest in 300 different tracts because of this American Probate Act. So whenever somebody dies and they don't leave a will, and it's over or under 5%, then we get it. If they don't leave a will and it's over 5%, we get that too, because they didn't leave a will. And then we have had some tracts like these here that we're talking about that's over 5%. So whenever that comes up for a lease, if it's over 5%, then the CBC has to pass a resolution to sign off on that lease.
The CBC has first choice, or the nations have first choice as to whether or not they want that property. After that, if the nations or tribes don't want that property, then it can be bought or sold or whatever by an individual member of that family if they want it.
You know, I wasn't aware of that. I've never seen something that come across our desk that says, do you want this or do you not? I mean, it was just given to us.
Okay.
I have a question. Dennis, so my understanding is right? My ex-husband has 150 acres of land and only has one child. So if he doesn't have a will, just if he doesn't have a will, where does that go?
Well,
That land, it would go to.
he doesn't have a will, and these people that we get it, they don't have family either.
Okay.
It's mainly people with no
Okay,
family,
okay,
Susan.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
it's been my experience dealing with these things in the past and dealing with BIA, that it would be more advantageous for the tribe to leave it as is. That way it doesn't confuse the BIA.
That is true, Milton. That is so true.
I have a question. Now,
Sure it is.
to not get in this problem, make you a will.
Well, that's not gonna
I
solve
encourage
everything.
everyone to make a will, because otherwise, you know your kinfolks and stuff, you know how that goes.
Right. It really involves if you don't have children. President McKinley signed off federal patents for every 160-acre tract, a federal patent, till time immemorial, till Jesus Christ comes. This federal patent, you can't just sit there and say, okay, I don't have no kids, it goes nowhere. It goes right back to our original reservation, which is what the American Indian Probate Reduction Act calls for. I'm with Milton, but Business Committee, this is post here. I would like to do a rewrite, maybe table it where we can go individually. And council, if we went individually, that wouldn't confuse BIA too much, would it? Okay.
I do think, I'd like to make this comment, I do feel, you know, where there are those tracks that have 160, because they come up once in a while, 160, and that we should move to acquire that. You know, it's gonna be a case by case, that when you get the notice from the probate or from the judge that there is to be this probate hearing, then that's the time that we should advance this pursuit and then bring it forward to the CBC, so we can pursue that purchase. Now, we could have a standing resolution also that, you know, if we have those kinds of circumstances where there's the large tract of land, not beyond the 5%, you know, that the nation move on it. Because I know in the past there have been a few cases that it came up and then that land was just, you know, moved into different status. But it'd be so nice to bring back original Alati lands back into the Indian, you know, Comanche Nation reservation status.
As we talked about on the court, this resolute law, and anything we do with such a thing, you know, this act is so prevalent within our court system. And I know you guys have addressed this already, right? Okay. Counsel.
Point of order. There's two issues being discussed here. One's the escheated property, okay, where it's less than 5% and there's no will. It comes back to the tribe. The tribe is free to pass a resolution to accept those, and I would urge that it happen because it's obviously property the tribe will get. You don't have to pay anything for it. The other issue is if property's fixing to go out of Indian title, the tribe has a right, first right of refusal under the Indian Lands Consolidation Act, to pay for that property before it leaves the tribe's jurisdiction. That's a case-by-case basis, so I think there's some
First right of
confusion.
refusal is our godsend.
But
It
there's,
really is.
there's confusion between which issue. The probate issue that he's discussing is when it falls below, when it's below 5%, it automatically comes to the tribe. They need a resolution at the agency so they can accept that property on your behalf. So you're not turning it down. The
Well,
other
we have
issue
a
is where-
standing resolution.
There is one there. I would just-
Okay,
We were just looking at changing the percentage.
I understand.
I would hope we go to an individual basis. I would hope we do that. Because each one is so different, and you know that, the aggregate of any land is so different.
I would accept them all, but that's my advice, because it's in the nation's interest.
Business Committee. 6417 is the resolution before us. To continue with this, I do need someone to bring forward a motion to this question.
I got a question. If we leave it the same, what is that gonna be?
The same. We don't even have to go for it. We got a standing resolution of 5%.
If we leave it the same, we'll just continue business the same. I mean, if there's a lease that's fixing to be, bid on, and then we would just sign or have passed a resolution for anything over 5%. And that's the way we're doing it now. Anything under 5%, they have the, approval because of that resolution to approve it, and then we just sign off on it, based on our share.
That's what we're talking about, right? Same thing.
Yeah, I make a motion to just drop this resolution.
Motion's been put up to strike this, and we move forward. That's the motion. I do need a second.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
And that is seconded. Business Committee to strike resolution number 6417 to entertain at a different time. I do need a signification of aye or yes. So to move forward, all those in favor of this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right. Did you get all that? Yeah. Okay. All righty. This resolution is requesting a federal investigation of Comanche Nation enterprises, included but not limited to Comanche Nation construction, to determine the finance and activities associated therewith over the past 5 years. Resolution number 6517. The CBC, pursuant to its authority cited herein in 2009, authorized the Comanche Nation enterprise to be chartered as a federal corporation. The C&E began operations in 2010 primarily by obtaining federal contracts. The C&E bylaw, see attached, required the C&E to submit all nominees to sit on its 7-member board. The C&E has operated for several years without a fully functioning board, and during subject period apparently has only one yearly audit produced 2015. In order to remedy this situation, the CBC recently appointed 2 new board members and reaffirmed a previous board member that was never properly removed. The C&E board chairman and CEO have continued to stall the recognition of these new and reaffirmed board members and has yet to submit required and requested audits, and instead recently offered a $275, or better yet, here we go, recently offered a $250 dividend check and that is incorrect. That is a $275,000 dividend check at the April General Council meeting against published evidence of approximately $50 million in federal contracts over the past 5 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Business Committee has determined that it is in the best interest of the nation to have C&E investigated by the federal government to determine where the assets associated with C&E are or have been appropriated, and why the nation is being ignored in its efforts to gain transparency of the C&E through the recent confirmation and re-recognition of 3 board members. Business Committee, I come forward with resolution number 6517 due to the point that I'm exhausted of trying to get information from this that says it's owned by the Comanche Nation through its charter. They're supposed to have their actual office on trust land, which it is not. It's supposed to operate with the 7 board member, which it's not, which has officially not done anything what its charter's telling us to do, and it claims autonomy over our nation, which it shouldn't.
Based upon that comment, Chairman, I would like to make a motion to accept resolution number 65-17.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favor for accepting resolution number 6517 to move forward in a stabilization of our nation, which we continually have to do, please signify by saying aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Hold on. Go ahead, got a question, sorry. Go
I've
ahead.
got a comment.
Sure.
As one of those board members selected, we have not met, we have not called a meeting. We've tried several times, and for different reasons, this was put aside. We've been trying to meet with the old board, and for some reason, this has not come forward. There's been a myriad of excuses, so I just need to let you know, CBC members, that Lanny and I have been trying to establish a meeting so that we could gain information.
Thank you, sir. No more talking about it.
A motion has been made.
And a second has been made, and no more talking about it. Let's be about it. Business Committee to approve resolution number 6517. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All those abstain, same
I
sign.
abstain.
One abstention by Mr. Riddle. Yes, Gabby.
Okay, that's Comanche Nation Enterprise.
Used to be Coney, went to
Oh, okay, that's
Enterprises,
Kodak.
now it's construction.
Okay, we gave over $10 million.
No, sir, it's
to Kodak.
6.5 million.
Same Section 8 program.
There you go.
Okay, and they gave us $275,000 back, and then I've done some figuring, and if they give us $275,000 a year, it's gonna take 36 years to get our investment back.
Thank you, Gabby.
That's a long time.
Yes, sir.
I won't see it. I know that.
Does that include interest?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do a
Gabby.
forensic audit on that thing.
Yeah. Does that include an interest?
Yeah.
No.
When I showed the-
10 million's not everything.
Okay, we got to move forward, Gabby, and thank you for that observation there. When we gave the net worth of the nation, we have actual building in Oklahoma City, 2 or 3 vehicles, whatever other asset they had, and I couldn't include it. We don't know.
The amount of salaries and the amount paid to Ryland Rivas.
Please, let's,
Count amount.
okay.
You know, that's what we.
All right, here we go. Resolution number 6617. And this has to be put on due to the fact that we do have new committeemen. I did make an amend at the start of this meeting to put this one on there. The CBC is a duly elected official body designated to conduct business. And we have determined that it is the best interest of the Comanche Nation to identify officials who currently have signature authority for Comanche Nation accounts at the financial institutions listed below. Now therefore be it resolved that the Comanche Business Committee hereby authorizes the following persons named in Table A to have the designated authority for the accounts identified in Table B, which are holding funds in the name or the benefit of the Comanche Nation. This document shall nullify any previous documents. The chairman has no signature authority over any finances. I do have signature over records and record copies, and I do have a say on investment direction. So what we are adding here is Mr. Ronald Red Elk for records access and record copies. And for our secretary treasurer, he needs access to disbursements, records access, records copies, and investment direction. Business committee to make this happen, and we are taking off the older committee. I do need a motion to this question to move forward.
I make a motion to accept resolution 66-17.
I'll second.
Motion by the vice and by Mr. Narcomi. Business committee to accept resolution number 6617. Please signify by saying aye.
Right.
All those opposed, all those abstaining. Okay, here we go. In 2008, there was a resolution put on this table. I come forward with this resolution today, 0617-01. Is that in your book, Business Committee?
Yes.
Okay. In 2008, there was a resolution that was passed, and it has caused an impasse for 10 years. Employees that were positive on drug use for the first time while on the job, according to resolution number 0908, were to be suspended without pay and were to take treatment from a reputable drug alcohol treatment facility, then return documentation. The resolution never specified how, when, and where they came back to work, nor did it speak to documented proof and who retains this documented proof. And whereas, record of fact, past positions whom had authority to override this resolution did indeed misuse, misconstrued, and obstructed intent of any and all drug usage which plagues Indian country today. With malicious intent, past positions gave the pass to themselves and others, which nullifies the original intent of resolution number 0908. And therefore, be it resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee rescinds resolution number 0908 and deems its purpose null and void. And be it further resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee does adopt zero tolerance to any, all illicit drug usage that isn't prescribed by a physician in written professional form and signature. That's number one. Number two, under the influence or drinking alcohol while on the job. This resolute law is for all Comanche Nation employees that come under the human resources policy of their entity. Human Resources Policy, Section 6, here for tribal government, is to read, employees will be given an opportunity to present to the testing facility medical records which authorize the use of a controlled substance or an existing medical condition and request retesting. That's something new. That needs to happen. Employees who participate in the Native American Church should have a membership card placed in their personnel file in Human Resources. Employees past their probationary period will be terminated immediately with no chance of appeal process. Drug uses has destroyed many lives, families, and is the plague of Indian country. Due to past administrations abusing the privilege to complete a program of drug counseling and rehabilitation, the revised Human Resources Policy has zero tolerance for any drug usage. Employees who have not completed their probationary period will be terminated immediately with no chance of appeal process. The revised Human Resources Policy has zero tolerance for any drug usage. More or less, the entire resolution does speak of 0617-01, zero tolerance. Business Committee, I bring this forward today. It is a question, and I need this motion entertained.
I have a question on it.
Sure.
When we say an individual has that opportunity, if they tested positive, they have the opportunity to show that it was a medical,
Yes.
prescription or such. But then when we read down under the positive test results, we just say employees past probationary period will be terminated immediately with no appeal.
Zero tolerance is zero tolerance, sir.
I understand that, but you're saying that, okay, if they come in with a prescription that says they're,
Yeah, it speaks to it right there, if you look at it. Prescribed by a physician in written professional form and signature.
yes, I see that.
Okay.
But then when I see down the positive test, maybe I'm confused here, but it conveys to me that, they're just gonna be terminated.
Sir, you were here in 2008 when this passed.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, it would have worked if people utilized that policy, but they did not, sir. So it has to go to zero tolerance, sir.
I understand the tolerance, but again, if the person, let me ask this question. If they come in and they have a prescriptive drug, they are not terminated?
No.
Okay.
No.
I want to be sure that that's
Right.
clear in this.
Right.
Is it clear?
Very clear. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I understand it.
It does say that.
It says prescription written professional. But I just want to be sure
And
that.
of course, our Native American church people, if they have a Native American church card.
I understand that several kids last year didn't pass a drug test, and they wanted to work summer program. Well, they didn't pass, so they weren't accepted. But we're not doing that in our tribe. The employees, that needed to be done all these years.
Sure has. I agree with that opinion.
Mr. Nelson, I have a question. So is it clear that if someone does have a substance abuse problem, and they do test positive, and they have been an employee, are they offered counseling?
No.
So there is no recourse for them to try to
No.
help themselves?
I'm
even-
sorry, ma'am, the past administration
No,
has
you don't
made
have to
it
apologize to me. I'm
totally,
just making
totally
sure that
terrible
there's
to
no-
the fact.
there's
You
no
cannot
counseling.
perjure if you're in a leadership role. You can't perjure that you're on drugs and bypass the system because you're on top of the program.
But then
Just
how are
can't
you
do that.
helping Indian country if you're just gonna terminate them? You're not giving them any way to better their lives or,
Is our nation supposed to babysit our people like that?
I didn't say that. I'm
Okay.
just saying
All
counseling.
right, okay.
But if you see counseling as babysitting, then I
We do have
understand.
we have a great system that actually, if they want to go, my family, I'm no hypocrite. My family's totally inundated in this stuff,
Counseling's not babysitting.
and it's just terrible. Sure, Sandra. Yes.
I think it's the wording. I think you put the part about the prescription ahead of the zero tolerance. I think the zero tolerance should go first, and then you have the fact that unless there's a medical reason and they're able to prove that.
I know, I was following the whole HR policy.
That's kind of where I'm having the problem.
Yeah.
It can be a little confusing to me.
Yeah, so it's the wording.
Yes.
I think if you kind of word it a little different.
I see exactly what you're saying. The part on, be it further resolved, number one, where it says illicit drug usage that isn't prescribed by a physician in written professional form and signature, that probably needs that exact language needs to be at the end after it has zero tolerance for any drug usage that isn't prescribed by a physician in written professional form and signature. If you do that, it's clear. Otherwise, it's not. Just that
You know what?
It's not only clear, it does unjust action against that individual.
The verbiage is not good. Verbiage no good. I agree.
I think if you correct that part, then I think that we would have issues.
Thank you, Senator. All right.
I have a question.
Sure.
It's amended then.
I was talking right here, it says, past probationary period. Now, I remember talking to some people that if they do get tested for drugs or alcohol or whatever, don't they have a chance to go to AA meetings or whatever? No?
On their own, they can do what they
Well,
want.
it says here, due to past administration abusing the privilege to complete a program in drug counseling and rehabilitation, it says, people who have not completed their probationary period will be terminated immediately. What does that mean? That means they have their probationary period to hold these AA meetings? And if they don't, they're terminated immediately? Because this thing seems like, to me, it's saying you're terminated immediately, and then it says you got a probationary period, and if you don't pass it, you're terminated immediately. So which one are we gonna use?
Both of them.
I know one thing, that I remember that when this was passed in 2008, and it sounded really good, it really did, but wow, it just did not go well. So I'm standing here with some verbiage that really needs to be changed, and I would really like some help from HR on this? Okay.
Let's hold this in abeyance until we get that done.
Is
I
that
make a
your-
motion to.
Okay, hold in advance, motion to hold in advance, did you catch, that's a new one. All
I still
right,
don't understand this probationary period.
all right, I do need a second for, this motion on the floor, on this table.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
All right, Business Committee, to hold in advance. Please signify by saying aye. Correct?
Aye.
Okay, all those opposed, same sign. All right, all right.
But this was put into the personnel policy to give the Comanche tribal members the opportunity to straighten out their lives.
That was the
And
first
it says-
intent, ma'am.
That was the original intent, because I was a part of that when it was written.
Well, the
It was to
documented record
give
shows it
those
didn't
people
work.
a chance. And now you're not giving anyone a chance.
Looks like we put it on the table until,
Yeah, it's not complete yet.
not complete, yeah, all right.
Some of the people that were sent to rehab, did paperwork follow them saying that they finished the rehab?
Yes.
The confidence on that, if she knows that confidence, hallelujah. We don't know that confidence. We don't know that confidence. All right, moving forward on article. And let's see, resolution number 0617-02. This was amended to the start of the meeting. Time we got it, Mr. Riddell? What's the time?
11.
Okay. All right. Resolution number 061702. Article 6, Section 7. The Business Committee is to promulgate and enforce ordinances and codes governing law and order to protect the peace, health, safety, and general welfare on land determined to be within Comanche tribal jurisdiction. And Comanche Nation Constitution, Article 11, amendments pursuant to Amendment 3, adopted May 29th, 1976. Section 1, amendments to this Constitution may be proposed by a majority vote of the Business Committee or by a petition signed by 200 adults who are entitled to vote, and if approved by the Commissioner of Indian Affairs, shall be submitted to the voters of the tribe and shall become effective when ratified by a majority vote of those who cast ballots in an election called by the Commissioner of Indian Affairs. The Commissioner of Indian Affairs shall be submitted to the voters. He is the one entitled to do this vote for the tribe. Therefore, be it resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee brings forth the legal quorum vote to have the Commissioner of Indian Affairs or body that represents this capacity to perform a secretarial election for the amendment to Article 5, Section 3C of the Comanche Nation Constitution, attached. And we go right to the attached. Article 5 is our tribal council. Section 3. In addition to the annual tribal council meeting, the tribal chairman shall be required to call a special tribal council meeting in the following cases: when he is so requested by a petition signed by 200 eligible voters of the Comanche Nation, setting forth the purpose of the meeting consistent with the Constitution. When he is so requested by a petition. So, if we go to Article 5, Section 3C, shall be amended to read, when he is so requested by a petition signed by a percentage of the tribal council setting forth the purpose of the meeting, consistent with the Constitution. The tribal council shall consist of all members of the Comanche Nation who are 18 years of age or older. We bring this forward. Our Kiowa brothers and sisters have moved on this because they have had a very defunct nation for over the last decade due to the fact of recalls. And what they have done is approved 30% of their tribal council, setting forth the purpose of the meeting consistent with their constitution. Now we go to Article 7, Vacancies and Removal from Office, Section 2. This was an Amendment 15 adopted April 14th, 1979. Article 8, Section 2. The Comanche Tribal Council may, at a meeting duly called specifically for the purpose, recall any officer or committeeman for neglect of duty or conduct that has brought disrepute upon the tribe. Such a meeting shall not be unless a petition signed by 200 eligible voters of the Comanche Nation requesting recall is submitted to the tribal chairman. The recall of only one officer or committeeman may be initiated per meeting called for this purpose. Let's go to Article 8, Section 2, shall be amended to read. Section 2, the Comanche Tribal Council may at a meeting duly called specifically for the purpose recall any officer or committeeman for neglect of duty or conduct that has brought disrepute upon the tribe. Such a meeting shall not be unless a petition signed by percentage of the tribal council requesting recall is submitted to the tribal chairman. The tribal council shall consist of all members of the Comanche Nation who are 18 years of age or older. The recall of only one officer or committeeman may be initiated per meeting called for this purpose. I have been in concert with Mr. Bruner, in conference with Mr. Darrenwater. He said the Kiowas went to a roll call vote. In committee, I call upon you, there's 3 percentages here, 10%, 15%, 20%. Secretary Treasurer, I would like to call upon you. If you could, sir, I'm abstaining because I'm only a tiebreaker. I would like to call upon you, sir, to do a roll call vote of 10%, then on to 15%, then on to 20%.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask this question first of all. These are 2 amendments to the nation's constitution.
It is.
And what you are saying is that in your discussion with the regional director and his deputy that,
It's a secretarial election done by them.
yes, that we will proceed with that.
Yes.
I want that understood because we cannot approve
can't.
that. The business committee cannot
No.
approve that. What you're asking for us, though, to put our vote down in the percentage, which would then go forward to in the secretarial election.
Yes.
And what you're saying to me, again, in that discussion with these officers of the Bureau, that that's appropriate and that's okay, that's legal.
That's what the Kiowas did, yes,
That's what the Kiowas did, but I mean, it's legal,
yes.
because...
And our Constitution is very, very legal, sir.
Yes, I understand our Constitution is legal, but I just want to make sure that, you know, when we have anything to do with the Constitution, we appropriately amend it with the voice of the people. You know, the people speak on amendments.
This is the secretarial election not done by us, but done by the Bureau.
Yeah, what you're saying, yes, they'll all vote by that secretary handling the vote.
Yes.
I understand that, but I just want to be sure that if we have this percentage, that we have the authority to establish a percentage which would then go out to the voters.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes, the people will have to vote on it. We're
Yes, they
just
have to
making a
vote on it, but we're
recommendation.
saying we're going to vote on, we're going to establish a percentage.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
and then we can ask the people if they want to accept it, yes or
Yes.
no.
Yes, I understand that. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that we have, the CBC has the authority to establish the percentage.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we do.
And that's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
There's somebody out there, is a hand up.
You got a question back there?
Yes.
I had a couple of questions. The first one being, you're coming up with this percentage to change the amount of people required for petitioning. whether it's recall or for whatever, based on what? Did you do a needs assessment? Did you ask individuals within the tribe if it's somebody, you know, and which individuals? No one asked me my opinion.
Well, you got
Nobody
your-
probably cares, but
you got
here's
your
the thing.
chance through the
You're talking
secretarial
about, we have
election.
16,776 voters, okay. 10% would be what? 1,600 people that you have to have a petition? Well, let me tell you, there was less than 1,100 people who participated in our last election.
That has nothing to
So
do
we're
with
talking
this.
about the people that are active, that are involved. So 10%, you know, that's a number that you would more reasonable to look at than the 16,000. Not only that, this, I feel, is a way to, stifling the people's voice, their people's concerns and their issues to be brought forth to the CBC.
I've actually did the population numbers of here and all of the Oklahoma City Metroplex in our 7-county. Comes about 5,500 people.
What?
About 5,500 people that are over 18. Always think of over 18. And we disenfranchise everybody that's over 18 by coming down here and voting on serious matters when everybody is disenfranchised that's over 18. Well, a faction of, well, you can say that, man, it's been happening for years. So that's just a personal situation. Yes, Hazel?
Again, you didn't tell me where you got your assessment. Did you do a needs assessment? Did you put a questionnaire out to the people? I know you're talking to your little cliques, but you know, and maybe the CBC. But like I said, this is the first time, you know, how many here have heard about this before? How many here think it's a good idea?
It is
You
our,
know,
it is
it's a
our
way
right.
to stifle our people.
Ma'am,
They
it
have
is,
the
it,
chance to vote.
they have the chance to vote
You
on
need to
this.
have some talk, more talk and do.
I mean, I can't play, you gotta be impartial. You don't play salesman up here. You impose things to the people and they vote.
No, that's right, you have, that's why, if you're impartial, then you wanna listen to my side.
I heard you.
Communistic state, that's what's happening.
Third world countries.
We had another general counsel, we can discuss this.
Go ahead, Hazel. Hazel.
My understanding is that during,
We
when we,
can't hear y'all.
it is my understanding that the general counsel, they usually, when an item is wanting to be changed on the Constitution, that it is presented before the general counsel so that they can, at a general council meeting, so that we can discuss it, so we'll fully understand what it means.
Everybody that was moved to an 8th in 2002
That was
went just
discussed
like
at a general
this.
council meeting, and we did
It was
vote
already
on
in the
it.
secretarial election.
We voted on that at a general council meeting for it to go to have a secretarial election. That's what we did. I was there. I was at that meeting.
But you're doing this without the people, just right here is a CBC you're changing.
If you need that list of people that want this, I'll provide it to you, ma'am. I will.
Do it at a general council. That's the place for it.
Go ahead.
Can y'all not come to the people and have like community meetings or?
Oh,
let the
yeah.
people
You know,
be
this
aware
is
of it
not
before
gonna
you
be
send it that
just,
way? Like,
this
let
is
us know
just
about
not a
it.
quick fix. This is, you know, there hasn't been a change to our constitution since 2002, and that was for
Come to the
1/8.
people first, then y'all discuss that, y'all wanna move it that way.
The secretarial,
Put yourselves in these offices permanently.
oh, no, they tried that in 2002. We said no.
Trying to do.
Oh, no.
I think
Bring it to the people first.
I think we can save money if we go secretarial election for everything, even the
sure.
recalls. This is
I believe
crazy, the
that.
recalls.
I believe that.
And the enrollment department on these petitions, that needs to really be checked into, because too many have passed, and to me, they weren't legally passed.
Well, you
In
know,
the past.
the enrollment department of our nation is the most governmental program we
It's the
have.
heartbeat
Why
of our
are we
nation.
doing petitions? And I don't know. Anyway,
Another question, sir.
yes.
I just wanted to know, you know, we're your constituents, you there on the CBC. How many of you have talked to your people and talked to other people, even though they may not have voted for you? That's what you do as a CBC member. You're supposed to talk to everybody, both pros and cons, and find out what everybody's wanting. And that's what you're supposed to be advocating for the people. And that's what I'm wanting to know. Is that
There
what
was a
you're
lot of
doing?
graduates in 2012. What we're doing today, in 2012, every graduate from high school that year got a check that bounced due to the fact that somebody had a recall that was just called and 6 people were removed. And, you know, we had a financial policy that me and this man put together that the CBC approved, We warned them, don't do that, but they did it anyway. And what did they do? They froze the accounts. So everybody from 2012 still has a bounce check. Everybody from 2012 still has a bounce check. That's terrible business. To sack your nation or do a coup d'etat over a faction. What did it prove? Nothing. Where did it get us? $38 million in arrearage, ma'am. And that is documented proof. This has a lot to do with it, due to the fact that if you can go and do that many recalls, and you only have a faction that speaks for so many people that are already disenfranchised because we don't include them in the vote.
At least that faction is bringing it to the attention of the entire tribal council.
Nelson, you should address this for the people.
I have a question. I have a question. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference what percent this is, or whether we present it or somebody else. You people are all going to decide, all of you people, not just a few that come to the meetings and whatever. I'm a firm believer that everything we do, the people should vote on it if you want to. So all you're talking about now is not making any difference, because if you don't like it, don't vote for it. Because, and another thing is, as I go around, people say, you gotta do, the number one they say, get rid of recall. Get rid of recall. That's so stupid. It bothers our tribe so much. Stop, okay, so let me finish.
1,000 people.
Let me finish. The deal is, we're not stopping the recall. We're letting you decide what percentage it is. So don't say don't say we're dictatorial. Don't say we're pushing down your throat. No, we're not.
We're gonna move
this
forward.
Is what people
Eddie,
have said.
Eddie.
We're gonna let you decide how to do it. We're not deciding it.
Okay.
Don't vote for it if you don't want to.
Okay, bottom line.
I believe all people should vote on all these things.
I'm calling upon you, Secretary Treasurer, could you do a roll call vote of 10%? All those not recognized, I am going forward with our Secretary Treasurer. Well, we just need a percentage. Yeah, great. We're talking a percentage. 30% of the Kiowa said, they want it. And that passed away.
You worry about us.
Yeah, let's move forward.
All right.
The tribe was getting as bad as the Kiowas. Let's say that.
That's true.
The two new ones don't have to vote.
All right.
Don't vote.
Well, I understand it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote, Mr. Tippecanoe.
Anything that's done can be undone.
Well, true.
Again, I want
Anything
to,
they do, we can undo.
I want to bring out this point, as I understand that, the regional director, forget the Kiowas, although you keep bringing it up, but the fact is.
No, 1,000 other people have brought it up, sir.
Okay, but you're saying that the regional director.
I'll bring a list to you.
This is a voice of the Secretary of the Interior. So you're saying the Secretary's representative said it's okay for the CBC to establish a percentage?
No, sir, I'll tell you something. Your Constitution says it right there. Amendments to this Constitution may be proposed by a majority vote of the Business Committee.
I understand.
I proposed this to them. I proposed this to them, and they said, sure.
I understand that. I understand that the Business Committee can do that. But when you get.
So 200 voters actually control 9,000 18 years and older. 200 people? That's how our nation is now. 200 people control, what, 9,000 eligible voters? 200 people?
We only have 1,100 active voters in this last election.
Yeah.
So don't tell me about 8,000 voters.
And so that once a petition is turned into the chairman, he's gonna go and validate the signatures himself, the chairman, whoever the chairman is, during that time? Is that what you're saying? Who validates the signatures in?
Mr. Secretary Treasurer, if you do not want to move on this, sir, Do you guys want to table this?
I'll go ahead and proceed with the call, but I have the questions.
All right.
Roll call. Okay, we're voting on 10%.
What's 10%?
10% of,
That's what Nelson proposed, and that's what he's
Not
trying to.
Nelson, this is a legal body here.
No, you were proposing, you drew it up, and you're proposing it, and you ran it by the
Move
agency.
forward. No, please, just.
Yeah, we'll
just be
proceed
civil.
with the vote here.
Please, be civil.
okay, the 10%, there's three categories, 10, 15, and 20. The first one is roll call vote on 10%, and the vice chair,
Yes.
Bring Terry here, I bet.
secretary treasurer, I abstain. CBC 1, CBC number 1, how do you vote?
No on 10%.
Oh, you're going higher, huh?
CBC number 2,
Yes.
CBC number 3,
No.
CBC number 4.
Yes.
This is the roll call vote, 15%. Vice chair,
Sherry voted.
this is 15%.
Yeah. Sherry voted.
She said yeah. Oh, excuse me, you had a vote already, excuse me. So you're going with the 10%, you're not voting on it, okay. Well, let's understand that. All you who voted yes on the previous, you have no vote here. Secretary Treasurer, I abstain again. CBC number 1,
Why are you abstaining?
No.
Take a side.
CBC number 1,
No.
no. CBC number 3,
No.
okay, this is 20%. The, let's see, CBC number 1,
Yes.
20%?
CBC number 3,
Yes.
and I have questions on this, but I'll go back to mine, and this vote, I put yes.
On which percentage?
20%,
20?
On what, 20%?
20%. So we have, on the 20%, we have 3 yes. On the 15%, we don't have any. And on the 10%, we have 2.
Did you vote, Mr. Tippecanoe?
Yes.
Actually, you have 3 on 10%.
10% has, yes, excuse me, 3.
No one wants to table it, and,
There's a tie between these two, the 10% and the 20%. So the chair, you break the tie.
I go with the lowest one. I mean,
Well, say it.
10%.
10%? Okay.
This has different parameters. Heck, they might not even go through with it, or it just might not pass. It's just like we did our 1/8. That simple. Yeah.
General counsel, did
I have a question about the, you said you don't know why the enrollment handles the recall petitions.
I don't like
Long
that.
time ago, when James Chestnut was Secretary Treasurer, it was his duty to do that. But he gave it to Zena Anderson, which was in the enrollment. So that it's been there ever since. But Zena was good. From then on, the people in that enrollment office, in my opinion, were appointed by Wallace Coffey. So, it could
Really?
be changed, y'all can change it.
Well, we don't hire and fire anybody in this group, so. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If this should pass,
Yes.
I'm just saying, if it should pass, shouldn't we amend the petition ordinance so that we don't disenfranchise the absentee voters?
I agree.
Where they can
I
also
agree.
referendum
I
sign
agree.
petitions, even though a petitioner cannot travel all out of state,
Right,
all
right.
the 50 states. So if this should pass,
Yeah.
then
I agree.
those election ordinance should be
I agree.
amended.
I agree.
It'd have to
If
be
you're
amended.
over 18
It'd
and,
have to be.
just like I shared about the smartphone, I mean, are 18 to 61 years old are more high-tech than me. They know, we get verification, we all do our banking on iPhone, you get verification of a number, and there's so many things you can do. People are shaking their head no, but I tell you, our processes we've had before, there's no checks, there's no balances. But I agree with you. If you're over 18, I don't care if you live in Quebec, you know, you get to do this. You know, we're in the 21st century, and we got a constitution that was ratified in 1967. You know, 50-year-old thing here. And, so, everybody's got a right to petition. Everybody has that right. Okay, Gabby, you've had your hand up for a long time.
Okay.
Yes.
You got,
Yes.
there's about 4 or 5 factors here that I want to point out. You just mentioned that one about 1967.
Because it's too loud.
That's when we had 200 signatures. So just by that, whatever the population was at 200, that ratio, I don't know what it would be now, 600, 700. You know, if you do that, I don't know what but anyway, you could do a ratio. So that is a, you know, 50-year-old requirement. And then,
It'd probably be
you
about
talked
400 to
about
500. That's about what it'd be, you know, for people in this jurisdiction.
And you said something about, well, unstable government, you know, we wind up with no government. One person was a TA and the chairman, and there's no CBCs. Yeah, illegal recalls, because the petitions were all messed up. Signatures, okay. And then another one is, we got a big problem with numerous petitions by one person. You know, that's what wiped us out. Okay, and then there's, some tribes have 30%, not only the Kiowas, there's others, so it's all legal. And, but the signature requirement should be reasonable, you know, because there might be a need for a recall. And I don't know, whatever reasonable amount is, I don't know, 1,000, I don't know, 7%, you know, whatever is reasonable. That's what I would think.
Okay. With that said,
Yeah.
be it further resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee brings forth a legal quorum vote to have the Commissioner of Indian Affairs or body that represents his capacity perform a secretarial election for the amendment to Article 8, Section 2 of the Comanche Nation Constitution attached. May these 2 amendments be done without delay with professional resolve for the continual stabilization of the Comanche Nation for perpetual time immemorial. Business Committee 061702, I do need a motion to continue.
I make,
Sure.
I have a question. Okay, so if this secretarial election does come about, so it would be from whenever it passed there forward, it can't be retro, correct?
Rephrase that, Sandra.
Okay, your 10% that you propose that you're going to submit as a secretarial election, whenever we have that election and the vote's taken, say it passes, could not be retro, it'd be from that, whenever it passed that day forward. Just clarification. Say we have a secretarial election in August.
Yeah. Bob's right, and you're right. Yeah, that day forward. Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, Lord.
My concern is that not so much the number, but the merit of the petition. Every time I see a petition, it doesn't have any merit to it. You know, it just says somebody did this, somebody did that, or whatever, has no merit to it. And if you look at it, we have CBC members drunk, we have CBC members spending your money, spending $5 million for property worth $6, and nobody says anything. This is what gets me. You people grab about small stuff and can't even prove it, and look at what all the past administration done, and you never said anything. I just don't understand that since I've been up here. I just don't understand about our people griping about little stuff and all this big stuff they did to you in the past. Look what we're doing now for you. Look what we're doing now for you and see what you got.
Very.
With all this, I mean, But let's rescind that policy restricting the employees. I came up here a few months back, and y'all said y'all were gonna do it during general council, either present it to the people on the floor or on ballot, and it never happened, okay? And it's a simple resolution that y'all can do right now. And I'm asking y'all, and this is very important, now that y'all gonna change these amendments to the Constitution and everything, and the reason why is that, I'm not totally, ignorant, okay? But I have a voice, but I'm stifled by this. Not just me, but many others are stifled.
Yeah.
You have a clique of people on the outside, non-employees, that get to say whatever they want, whether it be the truth or not the truth. And because you guys don't get up on there and say anything. No. So we're over here, we have to bear with it and say, no, that's not wrong. We're here, we see what's going on, we know what's going on.
But you never said nothing.
Because we're stifled.
Okay, I have a question on that. I agree with you 100%. I think any Comanche member can say anything about anyone, anytime. But the trouble is, we have to direct it. Now, I think he stood up about a couple months ago, and he said the workers can't say anything about this and that. And some people can and get away with it. Well, I'm a firm believer in free speech. You can say anything. And if you remember that meeting, Clyde said, well, if you don't tell us, how are we going to find out and fix it? So I'm going to try to get the committee to work on the policy and procedures of the workers. And that's the first thing I'm going to do. If you can say something, I remember you said they're afraid to say something because they can get fired. Well, if you remember, my granddaughter got fired because she said something. That's why I'm looking to change that, because I think you can say anything you want to, and without repercussions. So I'm going to try to get the committee to work on changing them policy and procedures with the workers' input. Like have a meeting on a Saturday and have all the workers come in and say, what can we do to make this policy work for you and us? Because we got to work together. And that's one of the things we're going to direct right there. I believe anybody can say anything.
Okay.
No, government should have control over.
All right. Jerry, I tell you what, you just heard that man? Thank you, Eddie. All right, we can have this motion, and we do have a second. I do need a second.
Resolution 06-17-2.
Need a second to move forward.
I second it.
All right, Business Committee to act on 06-17-02, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. After this resolution, we're going to call for a quick executive session. We have to, okay? All right, hold on. Now, please. Okay, resolution number 06-17-03. It deals with the same period of questions. Amendments to this Constitution may be proposed by a majority vote of the Business Committee. Therefore, be it resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee does bring forward this 10th day of June 2017 a passed resolution number 06-17-02, the one we just passed, acknowledging proposed amendment change to Article 5, Section 3C, and proposed amendment change to Article 8, Section 2, to have the Commissioner of Indian Affairs or body that represents this capacity to perform a secretarial election. And be it further resolved, the Comanche Nation Business Committee calls for a moratorium on all recall petitions during this time period, so the Commissioner of Indian Affairs or body that represents this capacity can perform a secretarial election as called for by the law of the Comanche Nation Constitution. May the Comanche Nation sustain itself as an organization of professional resolve for the continual stabilization of the Comanche Nation for perpetual time immemorial. Business Committee, I bring forward 06-17-03.
I make a motion that we accept 06-17-3.
I have a question, sir.
Sure.
So with the, and some of these people might not know what moratorium is, but with that, it means that if there is a petition out now as long as this is in question, that petition is on hold, right?
I think Bob made answer to
Well,
that
that's
while
the
ago.
definition of moratorium, and that's what you said.
Yes, it is a moratorium.
A motion and second has been made.
Motion and
Who made the
second.
second?
That's what they're doing. They're
Bob,
trying
ask questions.
Mr. Odyssey.
Call for the vote.
Business Committee, all those in favor of 0617-03, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstain? I have no vote, but I say no. Anyway,
I have a quick question. You're going to executive session, are you going to reconvene?
let us go into this executive session, and Vern, could you get, and please, everybody, and Mr. Tasakai, please leave your information with us, please, okay?
Reconvene is my question afterwards.
When we come out, we'll speak to the audience. We are in executive session, so I need to ask somebody to present that motion, please.
I make a motion to go to executive session.
I do need a second. Okay, all those in favor of executive session, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay, let us
Mr.
get.
Nelson, when you guys go to executive session, do you come out to vote?
Yes, we do. We don't vote in executive session. No, we do not.
Do you let us know that you're voting, or do you just open and then you go
We
back?
just,
to
we just come back to
executive
open meeting. We come to open meeting. Yeah.
session? So, okay. We'll see. Thank you.
You made the motion. Susan. You're a team, you should.
There's just, I gotta get this done for these good people over there.